We have details of this and more, which is our big story for this afternoon, where we'll be touching base with our correspondents from all 16 regions, hopefully, and get a sense of how the demonstration is playing out in the various district regional capitals. And later, we'll try and speak to some key voices within the party and also persons within the political space to find out what exactly this means for our democracy and how the EC should be posturing, especially with a few days, probably under 80 days or so, to the elections in December. This is News Central. This is our extended coverage of the NDC's Enough is Enough demonstration. Details of that in a jiffy.
This is your Election Command Center and a special edition of News Central. Now, in a bit, we'll take you to the grounds, but the national chairman of the NDC, Johnson Asiedu-Dartey, has charged the public not to be passive in fighting for their rights. He addressed the crowd at the Obra spot here in Accra just before the protest began.
Today is our time. We must not let our ancestors down. We must not let our future generations down. It is our time to fight. What we are doing is to prevent war in this country. If you want to prevent war, you fight to remove everything that has the tendency to generate into war. There is no option. There is no sitting on the fence. If you sit on the fence today and allow conflict to mature into war, you will be conscripted into the army to fight and die. So instead of waiting for war to break, for you to be conscripted to go and fight and die, fight now against the elements that are generating the conflict. We are not asking for a favor from Electoral Commission or the Nakufado or Baumia. We are demanding our rights to free and fair elections. So we are warning them. Today is only the beginning. If they think that after the demonstration, everybody will go to sleep, if they don't accede to the...
So those were moments before the protest of the demonstrators started their march towards the head office of the Electoral Commission, or the headquarters of the Electoral Commission. Our man embedded in that demonstration is Eric Maunaigbeta, who has been picking thoughts of some of the demonstrators and the leadership of the NDC who are gathered there. Let's get a sense of what's happening about 4 or so hours since the demonstration started. Eric, good afternoon to you. What exactly is happening? Where have you reached? That's in terms of the procession, and what can you report?
Enough demonstration, and they are continuing along the principal streets of the capital here. And for these guys, there's a very loud, vociferous noise they are making that whatever you do, John Mahama is going to return, as they continue to make their way along the streets of the capital.
He's coming live. Whether they like it or not, John Mahama is coming live.
Thank you. And so the supporters of the NDC, they continue in this street procession, this street march, which has been on since morning, demanding that the Electoral Commission orders a forensic audit of the country's electoral roll because of discrepancies. And they say that is the only way in terms of ensuring credibility of the country's electoral roll. The old, the young, they are all dancing jubilant of the loud blasting music that's been coming through. And boss, talk to us.
Champion, Mama is champion. It's coming. Mama is coming last.
Thank you.
Coming last.
And so they continue with the loud blasting music here on the principal streets of the capital as they continue in this demonstration where they say they want nothing but a forensic audit. We understand a lot more of the party supporters continue to make their way across the streets of the capital. And really, it's all been a case of concerns raised during the exhibition exercise of the 2024 voters register. The NDC, amongst many things, says that, look, they've identified close to 1 million votes, transfers and irregularities as captured in the current electoral roll. As we heard the Deputy Director of Elections of the party say, and amongst many other things, they are demanding a forensic audit as they continue to make the procession here from the Farisco traffic light, which is down there, headed towards the TUC traffic light, and then the Accra Polytechnic area, formerly Accra Polytechnic, now Accra Technical University. A lot more people are on the streets. Thousands of supporters have been on the streets since morning, even as some of the drivers force their way to try and make their way through the gridlock situation at this particular point. And even as the protest continues, there is some level of celebration in terms of the music and all of the things that we're seeing. But how have we come here and how have we arrived at this particular place has been as a result of what many will say has been a back and forth between the opposition NDC and the Electoral Commission. Didn't start today, has been on for quite a while, and it's reached a tipping point. And today they say they are demanding a forensic audit of the country's electoral roll. We've been speaking to supporters, we've been speaking to leadership of the party, who are all making the case that there should be a forensic audit of the country's electoral roll. And all the while since we've been here, there has been different individuals who've been present, who've been speaking, who've been making various demands and asking that something changes between now and December 7th. And that has been the crux of the argument that is being made by the NDC. And we will seek to get a bit more persons in terms of getting their thoughts and their opinions in relation to what has been happening. And we'll move along and try and speak to a bit more people on a particular protest ground and ask of them exactly what they make of it. Boss, talk to us. Why are you here? We've been hearing from your leadership, but for you, why are you here?
I'm here because of Jane Mensah. I'm here because of Jane Mensah. We wanted to do the right thing. What is the right thing? As an institution, at TV3, do your accountants do they allow for auditing in your institution? But they allow for auditing. So why is she running away from auditing? Why is she running away from auditing? We just need the register to be audited. That is what only we want. We don't want anything. We are not telling the Jane Mensah to help John Mahama in any way. We say we want an auditing of the register. That is the only thing we are asking for.
That's the only thing you're asking for, and that's why you're on the street. Thank you very much. We're still seeing a lot of the police presence and a lot of the tricycles, the different vehicles and vans, all present and part. A number of the individuals, tired legs, are on some of these pickup vehicles as they make the procession and make their way through the principal streets of the capital, demanding a forensic audit. They will make a first stop at Parliament, where they will be submitting a petition to Parliament, and then they will head to the headquarters of the Electoral Commission as well Some of them are saying
the signal to the Electoral Commission that he can't change the results. He is going to audit and audit today, tomorrow. We are ready for him.
You're ready for the Electoral Commission?
We are going there. He will audit. We need special audit for this election.
Right. Thank you. And so that is the opinions. It continues to be the groundswell of opinions. Amongst the many things, pickets of individuals suggesting that, look, they want jobs, they want a decent accommodation, they want to be able to live as well. But a crux of the argument and the matter for a lot of the individuals who have been speaking to us has been about the fact that they want an audit, and that is what they want. Yes, the Electoral Commission has made the point and made it strongly that, look, being on the street is not the most important thing. We've all throughout this week been hearing from the Deputy Commissioner, Dr. Bosman Asare, the Director of Elections, Banabio, and a host of other individuals, all present and part of the Electoral Commission, who say that, look, an audit is not important. Come, we've done the work that you said you wanted us to do. Come, let's sit down and have a conversation. But the NDC says an audit is the only thing that they want, hence being on the street. The numbers are huge. The numbers are a mammoth crowd, and they are continuing on the streets of the capital. But let's try and detail again for you why we're on the streets today, the 17th of September. We've been on the streets since 9 a.m. As early as 6 o'clock in the morning, there were individuals who had made their way to the Obra Sports to be a part of this particular protest. We saw buses convey supporters from the different parts of the country. Then we saw the Director of Elections, Dr. Omanebuama, come through. And then, a lot later, we saw the Chairman of the NDC, Johnson Asiedu-Dartey, who arrived and immediately spoke to the hundreds and thousands who were gathered at the Obra Sports, amongst many other things, stressing that they will continue to demonstrate and demonstrate and demonstrate until the Electoral Commission grants them the request of an audit. And that paved the way for a lot more of the supporters of the party who came in their numbers. There's been police presence all throughout as well in their numbers, all present and a part of the protest, and that really kick-started the demonstration that we saw. And this is the last set of the crowd, and so behind you see the Farm Police Unit truck which is signaling the end of the demonstrators, and so hundreds of them are ahead of us now, and we're going to seek to go up ahead and be able to speak to a number of them. But that's the police in your shot who are ensuring that so far the entire process has been smooth, peaceful, and the procession is continuing unabated. There's been a support base from all the constituencies in the capital who are all here and present as we gradually make our way now towards the TUC traffic light. And as you can see, the result is a gridlock situation for many who are going about their business, plying their business, and that is the situation at this particular point in time. But there is hope for them at least that the crowd is going to move, and then they can be allowed access to traffic. But this is the enough is enough demonstration of the NDC. And so the procession has continued from the Obra Sports all through to the Adabraka market area, where a lot of the market women, some of them as well, came around and were rolling their hands with the yes, the same sign. A number of them spoke, touched on subjects of free SHS, you name it, and the fact that they believe the next government will be the NDC government. Hence, the Electoral Commission must ensure and allow for the audit of the country's electoral roll. that is what it has been up until this point as we continue in the protest, as the women continue to dance and dance in the bucket of the pickups even as the procession continues. But let's continue with the live coverage, which is live here on TV3 and on 3FM as well. We're nearing the Accra Technical University. In fact, a number of these facilities serve as hostels for them. But you see ordinary Ghanaians, some of them by the side of the road as well, bystanders who are also seeing for themselves exactly what's happening, and some of them blurting out instructions loudly that they want the Electoral Commissioner, Jean Mensah, to ensure a free, transparent process. This is the Enough is Enough demonstration of the NDC as we make the procession now towards the TUC traffic light area, and we'll now try and get ahead of the crowd now and be able to pick a bit more in terms of thoughts and opinions. A number of them, like you're hearing, they're making the signs and showing the signs of the fact that yes, it's same, yes, it's same, yes, it's same. But let's do a bit of a walk down memory lane at this point, getting an understanding as to why the acrimony and animosity between the NDC and the Electoral Commission has persisted for quite a while. And so, cast your mind back to December of 2020, after the general elections and the subsequent declaration of election results. That exercise was particularly problematic for the Electoral Commission, because into the NDC
I want to take you to Cape Coast now, where Thomas Khan has been monitoring the demonstration in the central region. Thomas, good afternoon to you. What can you report? Well, it seems Thomas cannot hear us, but he had told us earlier that the demonstration had begun earnestly in the central region. We've seen some videos from there. It was led by the executives of the party in the region. How about we turn attention to the eastern region, where we know that our correspondent Yvonne Nikwe reported earlier that the demonstration is over, and leaders indicates there are irregularities in 8 constituencies in that region. Yvonne, give us a bit more on this. The demonstration is over. What's the situation like there?
Well, like you did mention, the demonstration is over. Hundreds of the NDC supporters, led by the national organizer, George Opari-Addo, and the regional executives, it ended, but the police are still at the Electoral Commission's office to ensure that they're protecting the EC's office and the personnel who work there. I dare to say that it would be a long day for them at that particular office. But of course, like we mentioned early on yesterday, the NDC simply wants the Electoral Commission to deal with the irregularities they have found allegedly in those 8 constituencies when it comes to proxy voting and transfer of votes.
I see. How would you describe the turnout or the turnout for the demonstration in the eastern region?
It's been a very massive turnout. These are people from across the 33 constituencies of the opposition National Democratic Congress. Huge turnout from them, by the numbers of staying on the streets from the 2 hours walk they have done in the Kufuor, the capital of the eastern region.
At the end of the demonstration, do we know if a petition was, delivered somewhere? What can you tell us about that?
Well, a petition was delivered by the national organizer, George Opari-Addo, to the EC regional director here by name, John Apia Bafo. He received it on behalf of the EC. Now, George did say that they believe that those irregularities must be dealt with. Otherwise, in his own words, justice will not be delivered to them. The EC Regional Director, James Bafo, did say that he has taken the petition. He would submit it to its regional office, its national office, to ensure that those irregularities they are alleging perhaps will be dealt with.
I see. Yvonne, perhaps we're going to come back to you so that you share with us the nature of the irregularities.
If you could please repeat the question, because the standing on the streets is very high.
I see. Does it mean that there are some demonstrators still around you? I assumed that everybody had dispersed.
Well, the crowd has dispersed. We're not seeing the huge numbers we saw early on, but you could feel the vehicles moving from where they converge to their constituencies, a number of them still hanging around in the central businesses and not far away from the Electoral Commission's office as well.
Yvonne, hang on for me. I'm going to come back to you so that we talk about those irregularities that were, delivered in that petition to the Electoral Commission. If you're watching us, this is a special edition of News Central where we are covering the Enough is Enough demonstration. Earlier in a conversation with Yvonne Nikwe, our Eastern Region correspondent. She's still on standby for us. But then before her, there was Mawana Egbeta, who's been on the ground, embedded with the crowd and giving us updates on happenings as far as the procession is concerned. But there's more to come here.
Certainly. Now, certainly it's enough is enough demonstration, but it's not enough if we don't bring you the other correspondents who are also monitoring this for us. Let's speak now to Beatrice Edu, who has also been stationed at one of the vantage points, and she's joining us now for at least give us an idea of where exactly she is and what is happening, where exactly she is. Beatrice, good afternoon to you as well. I can see you're clad in your riot gear. Certainly we are hoping no riot, breaks out as a result of today's demonstration. But give us an idea, where exactly are you stationed and what can you report?
Exactly. As you can see right behind me, I'm at the headquarters of the Electoral Commission. And I can tell you, Martin, that the police officers are ready. They are fired up to receive the thousands of protesters who are, I'm told, are drawing closer to the headquarters of the Electoral Commission. I can actually hear chants of songs in the background. I'm told they are not too far away from the National Theatre. I've been here for more than 1 hour. I'm sure you can see police officers right behind me. There are barricades all around the headquarters of the Electoral Commission. Let me just give you an idea of how it looks like right here at the Electoral Commission. If you're coming from Parliament into the headquarters of the Electoral Commission, there are about 2 barricades. I do understand that the crowd will be coming from there. So as we speak, there are dozens of armed police officials or armed police officials who are stationed there. I'm on the other side of the barricade, which is when you use the Rich Roundabout Road. Over here as well, there are dozens of police officers. Some are armed, others are just with their batons, all getting ready. And there are 2 levels of barricades right here at the Electoral Commission headquarters. I've had the opportunity to see exactly what's happening on the compound, and there are even more armed officers in there. So that should tell you that the police officers here are not leaving anything to chance, because they know that huge numbers of people are taking part in this Enough is Enough demonstration.
Right, and we can also see, like you indicated, that some officers are stationed behind you. Do they know how soon the demonstrators will be getting there? Can you hear them from where you are?
I can hear them. I can hear the chants. I can hear the chants. I can hear the loud music. Let me tell you another thing, that I had the opportunity to see the compound of the Electoral Commission, where I saw even more police officers. Now, in between the barricades, the 2-level barricades on both sides, there are 2 armored police vehicles there with cameras, and these vehicles are facing opposite directions of the barricade with cameras on them, so they'll be able to see who is going foul or who is acting against the law. And in between those armored vehicles as well, other police vehicles also standing by for any emergency or anybody who would want to flout the law, even as they try to enforce law and order. That is what it is now. The police officers are not ready to speak because what they tell me off record is that the attention is to ensure that everything is in place and the measures that they have are robust enough to resist anybody who would want to break the law.
Beatrice, thank you so much. I will definitely be coming back to you when the demonstrators do get there. We can also cross over now to Wangara, who is also monitoring this development for us in the northern sector of the country. Ibrahim Wangara, good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. He's joining us from the Upper West region, specifically the head office of the Electoral Commission, I'm told. So tell us, what has been happening in the last few hours? All right, so we do not have Wangara joining us. He's our correspondent there. And like you indicated, this is a national exercise undertaken by the NDC, primarily because they think that the electoral roll has a challenge and they want the Electoral Commission to allow an independent institution or individual or group to audit it. The EC, however, says, look, we hear what you're saying. We have already done that, and we are sure that the document we have for you is credible for the 2024 elections. But the NDC is insistent that they do not trust the EC, for which reason they want a third eye to look through that register for them. So as the demonstration is inching closer to an end, we want to give you a fair idea of how it's been playing out in the various regions across the country. And very shortly, we'll be speaking to Christopher Mwako from, he is a Savannah and Northern Regional Correspondent. Will be joining us shortly for what's happening there. And so those are some of the images we got earlier today when the demonstrators poured out in their numbers because of one single agenda: let's clean the voters' register. So also, before this coverage ends, we'll find out where exactly the flag bearer of the party himself is, the people he's with, and what exactly he's also been saying. For now, though, let's bring you the thoughts of one of the key stakeholders in our democratic governance, which is the Executive Director of the Institute of Democratic Development, IDEG. That is Emmanuel Akwete. Now, he says that the Electoral Commission should consider the call for an independent audit of the voters' register. He spoke earlier to Alfredo Kanse on Ghana Tonight.
And NPP and the Electoral Commission are always to discuss issues in a very cordial manner. You know, they are the referees, they are the rule makers. FIFA and its referees and footballers, no matter the tension, no matter the stakes, they find a way to work together. And I think that is what we can say now. We were a bit concerned about if it's the register and its integrity and credibility and what would assure that. We think it should be a conversation, but we have two dominant parties, major parties. They are the ones in parliament today, and they tend to have a strong following. So when it got to the point where NDC would call us, mobilize citizens and its members on the street to put pressure for something to be done, we thought that we could also add our voice. This EC is the only thing we have. It's excelled, it's Africa honored, and it's worked across countries and really become the standard bearer, you know. And it ought to be, in a way, on the basis of what is achieved, confidently resolve some of these issues without us getting into situations that has potential danger. Nobody wants violence, but let's see how they will resolve this issue, and we move on. We've done incredibly well in sustaining our democracy electorally.
Emmanuel Akwete, Dr. Emmanuel Akwete, who's with IDEG. We're going to share a bit more with you from the ground. as far as this demonstration is concerned, we know that this demonstration is happening 16 regions across the country, Accra being the biggest. We've also seen the Ashanti region since our coverage began. If you just joined us, you are in time for a lot more of the conversations around this demonstration. I want to take you now to the Upper West region. Ibrahim Wangara is our correspondent there. He's been monitoring the situation there. Ibrahim, is the demonstration over in the Upper West region already?
Yes, the demonstration is over here in the Upper West region, and it started peacefully and it ended peacefully. So long as the enough demo is concerned. But this demonstration in the Upper West region started somewhere 8 a.m., where they converged at Ministries Block C, and then from there they moved on to the police station roundabout. From there to the main traffic light, right to Sambo, where the Regional Electoral Commission head office is located. And then the Member of Parliament for West Central constituency, who read the petition on behalf of the party in the Upper West region, Dr. Hassan Rashid Pelpo, outlined some number of issues that the party identified. And one of them has to do with unauthorized voter transfer, where the party claims that they have uncovered evidence of 243,540 illegal transfers in the 2024 GVR. And the second thing has to do with unidentifiable voter transfer pass, where over 15,000 cases of untraceable voter registration pass are identified, according to the National Democratic Congress. Also has to do with the deletion of registered voters, where the party claimed that nearly 4,000, that is voters registered in the 2023, have been deleted from the 2024 provisional register without valid justification. And also the misplace of voter transfer, where approximately 2,094 voters were transferred to different polling stations that were not reflected in the absence of the voter list. And then they also identified corrupt data files, where they said the Electoral Commission corrupt files, including missing names and photos of registered voters, present a significant risk to the integrity of the electoral process. So these are some of the things that the NDC in the Upper West region identified as key issues that they think the Electoral Commission should work to ensure they have a good and a trusted voter register in the Upper West region. But here, like I mentioned, it started peacefully because the security agencies are also on top of issues. Before the kickstart of the demonstration, the regional police commander, the 2IC, I should say, addressed their gathering, where he took them through the route of the demonstration and how they intend the demonstration to go, and his appeal for the compliance of the demonstrators, particularly from the leaders. And all in all, they complied, and we had a very smooth and peaceful demonstration here in the Upper West region.
Ibrahim, who did the petition? I know that the demonstration exits or terminates with the regional offices of the Electoral Commission. Talk to us about what they did as far as delivering a petition is concerned.
Well, the party is petitioning the Electoral Commission, and in the Upper West region here, the Electoral Commission regional director happens to be the senior to their office procedure. So basically, the office or the party passed petition through the regional office of the Electoral Commission. But upon the receipt of the petition, the regional Electoral Commission boss, in an address, assured the party that he was going to forward a soft copy of the petition straight to the head office in Accra, and then followed subsequently by the hard copy, so that his superiors over there will make and take a decision from the petition that has been submitted to them, and through that they will communicate to the party in the region.
Indeed, Ibrahim, thank you so much for the reporting. Ibrahim Wangara joined us from the Upper West region. We'll say up north.
Right, we stay up north, Keminni, like you indicated. This time around, we are getting Christopher Mwako to update us on what's happening where he is. Chris, good afternoon. We can tell that you are still outside. What exactly can you see? Has the demonstration ended where you are?
Yes, so the demonstration has ended. The petition has been submitted to the regional EC office, and for party supporters who defied the heavy downpour earlier today to be part of this demonstration, we are very happy that at long last they have been able to submit a petition to the EC, and they are hopeful that the EC will consider the issues in that petition and act upon it immediately, because for them, the elections is less than 90 days and they need an immediate response from the EC, especially to listen to them by calling for a forensic audit of the 2024 voter register. They have raised some issues of illegal voter transfers that has hit the region. They have also talked about the fact that the EC system cannot be trusted, and for that matter, the EC should open up for a forensic audit, because the peace of this country, as it stands now, is in the hands of the EC. And with happenings in the country as it stands there, what they have described as ignorant and as arrogant, the posture of the EC. And so anything that the EC will do, they should know that it is in the best interest of the country that they, the NDC, have staged this demonstration and calling for a forensic audit of the voter register.
Demonstrators defied it and turned up to partake in the demonstration. When they presented the petition, who received it and what was the response from the officer that did?
Yes, so Mawena, the turnout was massive, because hundreds of people availed themselves for this demonstration, supporters of the NDC, drawn from the regional capital and other constituencies in the region. And so it was massive. The police did not have it easy controlling the crowd, because a lot of people turned out today. And this is also, according to the NDC, test their support base, because today the party supporters have shown that they have the party at heart. And looking at the number of people, or the numbers of people who turned out for this demonstration for the party, it is an indication that the northern region is still the stronghold of the NDC in the country. And so they are optimistic that come December 7th, the NDC is going to win massively in the region. And when it comes to the EC officials, they received the petition and promised that it will be forwarded to the national office for any decision to be taken on that. They also applauded the NDC for holding a peaceful demonstration, despite some agitations by supporters of the party against the EC. When they got to the EC office, there were some agitations, but they were resolved immediately. So all in all, it was a peaceful demonstration. Tens of thousands of people amassed, turned out through the principal streets of the Greater Tamale metropolis and actually were part of today's demonstration.
All right, Christopher, thank you for that report from the northern region. And clearly, it's been a very busy day for not just the police officers and the political parties, but for EC officials as well. You're still watching News Central. This is a special coverage of the Enough is Enough demonstration, which has been put together by the NDC. And the reason behind it is that they say they want not just them, but other key voices within Ghana's political landscape have asked that the EC consider the proposal of an independent audit into the electoral roll. We'll see what the EC's reaction or next step or next line of action will be when here at the national headquarters, the party executives and the demonstrators do present their petition to the leadership there. You're still watching News Central. When we return, we'll take you to the other regions. We've been to 4 already. We have probably 11 or 12 more to go. My math is bad.
Really bad. We'll be right back.
and other reporters embedded within the demonstrators. Sam Nate George is Member of Parliament for the Ningo Pram constituency and one of the vociferous voices within the NDC. Let's hear what he's been saying regarding why they intended to undertake this demonstration.
People, as a party, do you believe that the EC will hit the courts through this protest?
This protest is enough is enough. This is where we draw the line. This protest will yield results. The EC will either bulge or they will bulge. They have no other option. If we don't audit the register, there's no elections. There will only be elections when the EC allows.
Indeed, we want to take you to the Volta region now, where our correspondent is reporting that there was a bit of a fallover when the demonstrators got to the regional office of the Electoral Commission. We'll get you the updates on that. But we've also been speaking to the North Tongu Member of Parliament, Samuel Kujeto Ablakwa. Take a listen.
With NPP to gerrymander the register to give them an undue advantage, and you tell us that exercising our civic responsibility will not solve the problem. We shall show them what will solve the problem. The Constitution does not allow them to be so incompetent. So that independence stops when you become incompetent. Jean Mensa is just an appendage of the NPP, and I've been saying this all along. She's not on top of her job. Completely useless.
Voters register as we have it now is not credible enough for the 2024 elections. So we are demanding on the EC to make sure that there is an audit of the register so that you can have a free and fair election in December this year. It is necessary that we do the demonstration to bring to the Ghanaian people their knowledge that what is in the register is not the best. If we are not aware and we don't take the necessary steps, they'll be surprised if they go to the police station on December 7th and they will not find their identity.
I'm sending a very clear message that we will stand to protect the peace and stability of our country. We will continue to protest until the register is cleaned up, until the Electoral Commission agrees to a forensic audit. If they do not agree, we are going to continue to ratchet up agitation. We are going to continue with these demonstrations. This is just the regional level. If they don't listen, there will be a district level across all districts in the country. So it is in the interest of the Jean Mensa-led Electoral Commission. We know they are biased. We know that they have been so inept, they have been so incompetent, but at least they should save face and listen to the millions of Ghanaians across the country.
Still on the subject matter of the Enough is Enough demonstration, the West African Network for Peace Building, WANEP, is advocating for increased dialogue and engagement in addressing political differences, particularly regarding the ongoing disagreements between the NDC and the Electoral Commission over the voters' register. According to the Executive Director, Keminni Amanor, there is still room for constructive engagement on the matter. She made these remarks on the sidelines of a stakeholder engagement aimed at promoting a peaceful election.
You know, as it is the case in every election year, we have a very charged atmosphere. It's about contestations, it's about competitions, it's about trying to project and, you know, attain one's interest or achieve one's interest. And therefore, it is expected that you would have this sort of emotive atmosphere, and that's what WANEP is picking. And within that, you know, in line with what we usually do for every election across West Africa, we do develop indicators, risk indicators, and definitely there are a number of risk indicators that have been identified. Again, as I keep saying, this is to be expected. It's the nature of the game. What is more important to WANEP is not necessarily the risk, because you would always find them, they are always there, but what is more important is how prepared we are to be proactive in terms of mitigating those risks.
Is there a peculiar risk you have identified for this 2024 elections in Ghana?
I think I wouldn't call it a peculiar risk. I think there are many, and they range from politically related risks that are inherent in the very nature of elections to socioeconomic challenges that we've been going through, not just Ghana as a nation, but I think even on a global scale, that has added to it. And then there's also the role of technology and, AI and the whole phenomenon of fake news and misinformation, disinformation. These are some of the risks that have come to further compound traditional challenges that we have always dealt with for every election.
So today, the NDC, they're on the streets protesting against the electoral roll, a key component for peaceful elections come December 7. The position of the EC is that the electoral register is credible enough. The NDC disagrees. Beyond the positions held by these stakeholders, what more can be done to ensure peaceful elections?
I think one of the reasons why we are here today, which is of course under the leadership of ECOWAS, engaging multiple stakeholders is one of the ways. It's always important that we don't focus only on the positions, but beyond the positions, we identify other interests and needs, and then look at other stakeholders that can also be engaged. It's important that we always build complementary platforms that allows for engagement beyond the principles that are more visible and tend to take a lot of attention. And so this is exactly why we are here today under the leadership of ECOWAS, engaging multiple stakeholders. Some of the stakeholders that are out on the streets, also have representatives here with us. And
one of them calling for increased dialogue between the NDC and the Electoral Commission. But the NDC at the moment is on the ground. They're hitting the streets, of the capital and other areas in the country to demand that an independent forensic audit is conducted on the current electoral roll. Let's head to the Ashanti region, where Ibrahim Abubakar, our correspondent, is joining us with the latest on the protests in the Ashanti region. Ibrahim, I see that you are right in front of the police barricade. Talk to us about what's happening. Ibrahim, we cannot hear you. You may have to unmute yourself. The protest in the Ashanti region has also been a really big one. Ibrahim has been with the protesters from the very beginning and up until the end, where I believe he is at the moment. Am I right, Ibrahim?
So, Keminni, as I speak to you, the protest is minutes about ending because the leadership of the National Democratic Congress have entered into the EC office to present their petition. So, like you said, this is the barricade to the Regional Coordinating Council, where the police have mounted strong barricades here, so they will not allow all the supporters or all the demonstrators to troop in. So currently, some of them are just resting on the park that is on my left. So, so far it's been smooth, but the numbers has been massive because, like I said, we all know Ashanti region is a stronghold for the new patriotic party. So for the NDC to have been able to gather these numbers, leadership say it is a testament that not all Ghanaians, or it's not only NDC that is not satisfied with the Electoral Commission, how it is handling affairs. In fact, it is not only members of NDC that participate in this exercise, even though I would say 95% of the demonstrators are members, supporters, and sympathizers of NDC. But I've also seen supporters or leadership of PPP, CPP, BOOM, APC, and also Alliance Party, who have also joined hands to demand for a credible voters register. They said this is not just a call by the NDC, it is a national call, because if the voter register is not credible, it means it is going to affect all the political parties. But then, if it is credible and all the political parties are satisfied with it, then whoever wins or whoever loses will take it in good faith. You know that, in fact, the will of the people have spoken and they will have to accept that. But for the EC to take an entrenched position not to provide the voter registration for audit or forensic audit, and they believe that meaning the EC is hiding behind something come December 7. So, all in all, like I said, minutes later, the leadership will come in and address the supporters here. But earlier, I engaged with some members of PPP and also other civil society organizations who joined the demonstration.
Indeed, and we're going to listen to those clips in a bit. But Ibrahim, we know that the crowd in the Ashanti region, just as you've said, is a big one. My question then is the plan for security to allow all the protesters to be where you are at the moment? Or, you know, like we have seen in Accra in the past, is only the leadership who make their way to the Electoral Commission's office? Well, Ibrahim, I'm going to try again. I'm asking, is the security plan to allow all the protesters to reach the point where you are?
No, they are not allowing anyone beyond this barricade, with the exception of the leadership of the party. So currently, I can use. So, you know, the initial plan was that this is the entrance of the Regional Coordinating Council, but the EC office is not situated within the premises of the Regional Coordinating Council. It is behind it. But
well, it looks like we lost Ibrahim on that connection again. While we fix that problem, let's take a listen to those people who spoke earlier, leadership of the PPP and others.
Well, thank you very much. As you are aware, this election is very critical. And as Ghanaians, the most important resource that we have, of which every Ghanaian must work to ensure its preservation and protection, is the peace that this country has. Our group is Group Stand for Peace, Growth and Development. We are committed to the protection and the preservation of the peace that the country has. At the moment, the EC plays a critical role so far as the peace and security of this country is concerned. We strongly believe that the EC has a role to play to ensure and guarantee the peace that we have. And so we fully subscribe with the petition that the NDC has made, that there is the need for transparency in everything that the EC does, because it is only a transparent process that will lead to a very fair outcome. If the process is fair, at the end of the day, all parties involved will be very satisfied. So we are appealing to the EC to look at the general peace that this country from election. And I don't think the demand that the NDC is making, of which we also fully subscribe, is anything too difficult for the EC to grant. We are saying that they should audit the register by an independent body. If the EC has nothing to hide, then I don't think it should be a problem submitting to such an independent audit. Well, my name is Maxwell Kokwa. I'm the General Secretary. Group Stand for Peace. Basic audit of the voter register. Every meaningful political party in Ghana here want free and fair election from the Electoral Commission. If the voter register is not being audited, what surety are we having? We need to know those who are there, the mistake that was made, the correction has been made. It should become public for every political party to have a copy to go through and be okay. If not, that is none, it means community needs to be set so that it will be audited. So at least a simple thing. A simple Electoral Commission has to take and just and work on it. It's not something that has to do with one or two staff. It concerns general election. And we want free and fair election, nothing more. So PPP is in support of the forensic audit of voter register. It's simple.
Voices from the Ashanti region, from the Enough is Enough demonstration in that region. Earlier, I was in a conversation with the correspondent, Ibrahim Abubakar.
Right. Well, so let's get some further perspectives on this. Joining us now is Professor Enoch Entry, who is a governance and policy analyst. He's joined us via Zoom for a quick chat on today's development. Prof, very good afternoon to you. Thank you for joining us. To start with, I'm sure you've also been observing and following what's happening on the streets across the country. That is a very necessary part of our governance process, isn't it? Especially looking at the fact that the protesters, or the NDC for that matter, is asking for a credible register for all of us.
Yes, good afternoon to all your listeners and viewers all over the world. I am thrilled to be here, and I think that you've hit the nail on the head. Politics is hard work, and when people work hard and talk to delegates to convince them that their policies are the ones that the people should vote for, then we are expecting that the elections will be free and fair, because as a nation, we have nothing to lose if our elections is free and fair, and we have everything to lose if it is not free and fair. So it is not only NDC, but there are other political parties that have also raised the same questions about the integrity of our electoral process. And when we talk about auditing, in fact, let me take you to forensic auditing, even in accounting. Auditing in particular is not supposed to detect fraud, but in the process, fraud is detected. So when we say that the voter register should be audited, it doesn't mean it is fraudulent. But there are a lot of things that have been raised, and I'm surprised that the Electoral Commission is saying that they are all unfounded and everything, they need evidence. NDC is talking about a couple of things. They are saying that about 243,540 previous transfers have been added to the 2024 transfers. I'm talking about 243,540. And then they talked about 15,000 unidentifiable voter transfer paths that can also not be identified. Then they talked about 3,957 voters registered in the 2023 that has also been deleted from the 2024. We also know that the last limited voter registration, we found out that about 50,000 people have died, and their names were on it. So these are evidences in themselves that can be used to alter or falsificate the electoral process. So when we have independent, forensic auditors, all that they are coming to see is that whether these allegations or these facts that NDC and the other political parties are bringing, it is true or not.
Very well.
Just open your books.
Indeed, Prof. The Electoral Commission then says, look, these matters or concerns that the NDC has raised, we have dealt with them. That's the purpose of the exhibition. There is no need for an independent forensic audit of the electoral register. Does it suffice?
No, it doesn't suffice, because you cannot be a referee and a player at the same time. The Electoral Commission is supposed to be an independent body. So if you are an independent referee and we're playing a game, and then the other person is saying that this is what I found, that is not going to make the game fair, and you're saying there's nothing like that, how are you being fair?
I see.
They are raising those issues, so why don't you look at them? You NDP want to do that, the forensic auditing for us free. Bring independent bodies to look at it. If there's nothing to hide, why should auditing be a problem?
You get a sense the EC may be wanting to hide something?
That is not what I sense. What I'm saying is that don't create the impression that you are hiding something, because statutorily, the Electoral Commission is supposed to be an independent body. So if you're an independent body and there's an election, and one side, because political parties are sides of persuasion, the other side is saying that there are some things that I'm not clear about, but I don't trust you because you have created the problem, so you can solve it. Bring an independent party to do that. And we have the UNDP saying that we can do the auditing for you free, forensic auditing. And you are saying no, all the issues have been addressed. How did you address them? How did you convince the other party that all the issues have been addressed? Because you're asking them for evidence.
Well,
the issues they are raising are evidence in themselves.
Indeed. What could the impact be if the Electoral Commission fails to subject itself to an independent forensic audit?
The impact is not going to be nice. It's going to be ugly. Why? Because in Africa here, most of the violences and wars you've seen are coming from electoral violence, electoral frauds. So the least any electoral commission would do, and I miss Afarijan's time, is to create the impression that you are on one side of the political party, because that's not your job. Your job as an electoral commission is to make sure that the election is credible, free, and fair. And then there's no fraud, either real or imagined. There's no, lack of confidence in the process. There's accuracy and integrity. And there are no vulnerable even data, because data could be corrupted. So there are a lot of things that can happen. And if people are raising concerns and you are rubbishing that concern that they don't have an evidence that has been solved, and that should be okay. Don't forget that in 2008, the runoff, Professor Mills beat Nanado by 46,000 votes, which is 0.46%. So just 40,000 votes or even one additional vote can tilt the election in somebody's, favor. And that will not be fair. So if we want fair and credible election, it means that every concern raised by any political party should be addressed by the Electoral Commission. That shouldn't be a problem.
Prof, how do we make progress? It looks as though in almost every election year, the party in opposition is the one that has issues with the EC. The party in government seems to be quite okay with what's happening. And there's been some kind of a loud silence from the main contender in this election, which is the NPP. But talking about the referee in this conversation, the EC, how can they, in subsequent elections, probably this one, they will end up allowing an audit. But going forward, how do we approach concerns about the credibility of the register?
I think it's sad that we have come to this way that there should be a massive demonstration, and enough is not demonstration before the Electoral Commission will listen. There wasn't any need for the Electoral Commission to talk about this, that we've done this, we've done that, something happened before, in 2016, this happened in your term. You see, it is sickening to find a situation where even the Electoral Commission talking about past situation. You are here now. So solve the problem. All that they have to do is open your books, bring in independent bodies to verify all these allegations, whether they are true or not. And then when they say there's nothing at all, then we are all cool with it. Why should this be politicized? We are going for election, different political parties. Some are raising concerns, address them, and they think that you cannot address them because they suspect you. One thing is that it doesn't help for all or any other political party to suspect something different from free and fair elections. And if there's that kind of suspicion, then we need an independent body to come and look at it. Why won't you open all the voter register to an external audit to come and look at it and say that, because even organization, we have internal auditors and we have external auditors. So if internal auditors say there's nothing wrong, remember the internal auditor is part of that company. And that is why we need an external auditor to come and look at it and say that, oh, what the internal auditor said, it is true, it reflects the true state of affairs.
I see. Period. I mean, but do you expect this demonstration to be able to, bring that about, that at the end of the day, the Electoral Commission will then say, we are opening up ourselves to forensic or audit. In essence, I'm asking for...
They should. I think this demonstration should open up the people and the government, the Electoral Commission, to the fact that when no more money break, they are serious about it. Because you cannot just push it under the carpet. It is a serious issue that needs to be addressed. So we cannot move forward until they open the voter register to external audit for everybody to see that the names we have there are all authentic people who are supposed to be there. I see. Then after the elections, if NPP wins, then everybody knows that they won fairly. If NMTC also wins, that we all know that they won fairly.
But Prof, why you think that it could result in an independent audit of the electoral roll? We know that not only has the Electoral Commission asked that the NDC comes back to the table for dialogue, the Peace Council has also said that at Wednesday's IPAC meeting, the NDC should bring their presentation and show it to them, essentially also asking for dialogue. Is this the time for dialogue? Will dialogue work?
NDC tried to dialogue on this. Why didn't it work? Why does it have to resort into demonstration before we are calling for dialogue? So what I'm saying from the beginning is that we shouldn't have gotten here. It is just a simple thing that the same way as we have internal auditors and external auditors, if one party does not agree to the numbers of the voter register, bringing in the external auditors to look at it doesn't mean that you didn't do your work well. Because we can detect anything in the process. This should not be politicized. How we make things difficult here in Africa about simple things like this, because the EC has nothing to hide. EC is not supposed to favor any political party. The mandate from the 1992 Constitution is that you're supposed to conduct free and fair elections. You're not supposed to take side. So if somebody made you the EC, it doesn't mean that you call to the tune of that person, because statutorily you are supposed to be neutral. So if one party is saying that this list is not what it's supposed to be, look at their evidence and then bring external auditors to look at that. Once they all look at it and there's nothing anomaly to it, we are all free in our heads.
Right. Prof, we know constitutionally we are bound by the fact that the Electoral Commission is the one to take us through an election. If they do allow for an external auditor to look through the books and they do find out that all these anomalies that we are being told about actually do exist on their books, and maybe they take steps to rectify it, would you still trust them in December to undertake the elections?
When those anomalies are found, anomalies doesn't mean you are conducting fraud. Anything can happen. It could be dead, transfers, as the NDC is saying. It could be transfers that are not registered. It could be corrupted files that cannot be opened. And then one time you get there, you can see that those corrupted files can open on the election days. And guess what? People who don't qualify can vote. When you are going to elections and there are suspicions everywhere, we need to clear it before we go to elections. Else, when somebody wins, people will think that that person did not win fairly. And that is why it is prudent for the Electoral Commission to say that, okay, we've done our best. On our part, we think that there are no discrepancies. Everything we have is fair. And then we bring an external forensic auditors to look at it, like the UNDP, and they say that, oh, we've also checked and everything is fair. So be it. So that when you win, we know that the voter register was credible, those who voted were those who were supposed to vote, and there will be peace in the neighborhood. Right. But if you don't want to do any of this, and the Electoral Commission is behaving like NDC is crying that kind of lone wolf, cry, and there's nothing to it. You can't do that during elections. When people are complaining about issues, listen to them. Even if your kids are complaining about issues and you brush it off, next time they will never come to you. And that is not something that I like, that anytime it gets to elections, we target the Electoral Commission. It is good that these independent bodies comes in so that we all be clear in our minds that they are not hiding anything from Ghanaians.
Right. So same question probably, let me rephrase it. Would it in any way affect the credibility of the Electoral Commission as an institution to undertake an election, you think?
It won't affect their credibility unless they think so. Because let me put it lower so that you can understand. If an accountant works and an auditor comes to do auditing and realize that something has been done, maybe the receipt wasn't supposed to be where it was supposed to be, it doesn't mean that that accountant is not credible. But bring an external accountant to see others, okay, I need this, I need that. You provide them, so okay, we are all cool. That is how it's supposed to be. So auditing or forensic auditing does not affect the EC's credibility. If they think so, that is unfortunate. It doesn't affect their credibility because we are assuming that intentionally they will not put people who don't qualify their names to be there. That's the assumption. They were supposed to be free and fair and the way they conducted it. But lack of credibility or suspicion comes when the other party have found something and then you are saying that you will not accept it as an evidence. That's where the problem is. So when we find something, it's not going to affect their credibility, but it means that, they could not catch that error. That is the way they should see it.
Okay. Prof, pleasure talking to you this afternoon. Thank you for making time to talk to us.
Thank you too. It's always been a pleasure talking to you guys. Have a great day.
You too, sir. And we've been speaking to Professor Enoch Entry, who is a governance and policy analyst, sharing his thoughts and expertise on what has happened within our governance space, almost always within the Electoral Commission and sometimes the party that is in opposition or in government, etc. But it's good that we also hear from you. Enough of what you have heard from us. Let's hear from you as well on our various social media platforms. We'll be happy to share that with the rest of the world. More news still here on News Central.
Absolutely. We want to take you onto the grounds again. We have been speaking to Deputy General Secretary of the NDC, Mustapha Gbandi.
Police for Akasa. Say party demonstration will be very peaceful. To Sausha up to date. Body BNC. Yeah, demonstrated the electoral commission say. Voter register na there. As I see a cleaning. One pay. Ghana for you know who say MPP for a slow abattoir. And to person who use Bossman Asare. Any Jim Mensa, any year abano. Yan try Magana ni because of abattoir. And yet, Sagana ni because of abattoir. And Nuntina NDC, yes, I deal with. Any police phone and NDC Nibia and Famra and Shannon. And that is what we are doing.
Mustapha Gbandi there, he's Deputy General Secretary for the NDC. He's also on that Enough is Enough demonstration. And Martin, it would appear that there is a mass to this demonstration. It's happening across all 16 regions. If you hear from what our correspondents have reported so far, I see a trend where it would seem that the NDC had distributed key members of the party across the regions. We know that in the eastern region, George Opariado was there. He's not national youth organizer for the party in the Upper West region. Correspondent also talked about, Rashid Pelpo, who's the Wasi, also in the Western region. And so it would appear that they stood well in the demonstration in that region. Kwame Govins, Abuja, the Adakulu MP. And then there is also Noton MP, Okuditu Ablakwa. What we want to do now is take you to the Northeast region because, as far as this is a regional event, we see that each of them is presenting a petition to the regional office of the election Commission. Let's look at the events that took place in the Northeast region.
Take swift action to preserve the integrity of Ghana's democracy, the democratic process, and ensure the stability and security of the nation. The irregularities in the provisional voters register are not minor oversights or clerical errors. They indicate deliberate manipulation of the voter database. This raises concerns regarding the potential for election fraud. Failure to address these significant issues promptly would put Ghana's democratic reputation in national stability at risk. 2024 general elections, many Ghanaians are concerned about the accuracy and integrity of the election process. For managing the voter register has carried out activities such as voter registration, transfers, and the voter exhibition exercise. However, the National Democratic Congress has found troubling discrepancies in the PVR, including unauthorized voter transfers, missing and deleted voter data, untraceable transfer parts, and corrupt files with missing names and photographs of registered voters. While the EC has acknowledged some of these issues, it has not taken significant steps involving relevant stakeholders, such as carrying out a forensic audit. Moreover, the undue delay in providing the PVR to the NDC prior to the voter exhibition exercise for scrutiny has raised additional concerns about the integrity of the electoral process. The theft of the biometric voter registration VVR equipment under the CCTV camera surveillance at the headquarters of the Commission is hanging. The NDC believes that these unresolved issues could undermine the fairness and credibility of the upcoming elections. Forensic audit to ensure transparency and restore public trust, but the EC has not responded favorably. given the high stakes, an immediate participatory forensic audit is essential to ensure that the elections proceed on a foundation of fairness and credibility. I wouldn't want to waste your time. I think we have details of what we are submitting.
We expect to hear favorable response from the Electoral Commission with regard to this petition that we have presented.
Very well, that's from the Northeast region where a petition was also presented to the Electoral Commission. Remember that, the same was done in the Upper West region, the same was done in the Eastern region, and then also in now the Northeast region. A similar will be done in the Ashanti region, where our correspondent told us that, look, they are inching closer to the regional office. Also, we are reporting that the police are now investigating the shooting incident at the Kumasi EC office. We'll get you a bit more on that a little later. We also recorded a little fracas at the Eastern, the Volta regional office of the Electoral Commission as well. A bit more on that shortly. But right now, we want to take you to the Western region, where we understand, just like the national office in Accra, the police are beefing up security. They have increased the blockades over there. Let's find out what's happening now. Indeed, that is what you're seeing on your screens at the moment. The human barricades they are creating there is also, is the first port of call for the demonstrators, signaling to them that, listen, this is where you stop. You don't go beyond us. Right behind them, as you see on the screen, is the metal barricade as well. Behind the metal barricade is also another lineup of police officers. And we have reported already, the police will not leave anything to chance. But most importantly, the demonstration has been peaceful across the board. It's been peaceful across the country. There haven't been any disturbances. The police are only doing what they are supposed to do. I doubt it is in anticipation of any mayhem that could happen. But obviously, it's important that they put all the plugs in place. When they need it, they pull it. Yeah. When they need it, they pull it. And that's what we are seeing in the Western region. Our correspondent also at the EC office, EC National Office in Accra, Beatrice Edu, has also told us, listen, they have upgraded security there as well. Yeah. She told us earlier there was a two-step barricade, one very far from where the office is. They expect the protesters in their huge numbers to be there. Then the executives will proceed closer to the the second barricade and closer to the EC's office. And fantastic job the police is doing so far. We haven't had any brutalities. The protesters themselves have also been behaving and doing what they are supposed to do, make their demands known, and that's what the enough is enough protest has so far shown us. Yeah, I mean, after all is said and done, the one good thing I'll take from this is that we are allowing the democracy to take root. All of these things are part of growing our democracy as a country, and it's interesting that both the police are allowing the protesters, and the protesters have also behaved themselves all through the reports we've got from across the country. And now let's go to the Western region, where Parkojo Peters joins us for a quick update. The visuals you saw a few minutes ago was the EC's office in the Western region, where they have a two-step barricade there again on your screens. So there's a first human shield, then you have the metal barricade behind them. And so Parkojo Peters joins us to give us an idea of how it's been so far in the region and whether or not the demonstration has come to an end, or how close are they to the EC office. Parkojo, good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. Where exactly have you reached and what can you report?
Yeah, the demonstration ended a few moments ago after the NDC presented their petition to the Regional Electoral Commissioner. The petition was received on behalf of the Electoral Commissioner by the Deputy Commissioner, and it was handed over to him by Honorable Emmanuel Amakotibua. In fact, the police delegated that they select 6 members out of the demonstrators so that they can present the petition on behalf of their party. No, I can say it was a success. Surprisingly, we had the regional boss of GUM, Ghana Union Movement, joining the demonstration. That's Peter Yaupache. I spoke to him a few moments ago, and according to him, though they don't support the NDC as a party, but they support what they came out with from the discrepancies identified from the voters register. So they join in the view that maybe those discrepancies might, one way or the other, affect members of GUM. So they decided to join so that in case their members are involved, those discrepancies could be rectified. So in all, I can confidently say that the demonstration was a success.
And who received the petition on behalf of the Electoral Commission?
That's the regional deputy electoral commissioner. He received it on behalf of the regional boss.
Right, and I'm sure the content pretty much the same as what we are hearing from the other regions, that they have concerns with the register. But for the Western region specifically, do we know of any specifics regarding what their concern is with the register? Because we know, for instance, that in the Upper West region, they mentioned that about 4,000 names have been deleted from the roll in that region, in the Western region. Were there specifics that were mentioned by the petitioners?
As we speak, we haven't recorded anything of that sort in the Western region, but their grievances have to do with what they recorded nationwide. We are yet to hear of any of such incidents here.
Right. Pakojo Peters, thank you for that update as well from the Western region, where he says that the petition has been presented to the EC officers and it has actually come to an end, and he says it's been peaceful. It had been peaceful. We also saw that the police were in front of the protest, or the demonstrators took them safely to the EC office where the petition was presented. And one indication he gave was that a 96-year-old woman took part in the demonstration. And it goes on to buttress the point that, look, almost everybody is a stakeholder when it comes to the democracy and the peace we are hoping to attain as a country. So commendations to the actors, across board, from even the perspective of journalists, that we are allowed to express our disagreement, etc., that people are allowed to express what they think about our electoral process. And this probably should be the standard for demonstration in the country, that if people have a grievance and they want to express it by protesting, they should be allowed to do so within the remit of the law. And that's what we have seen across the country. So hopefully, the leadership in Accra will be bringing theirs to an end. But let's go to the Western region again and take a look at the very elderly woman who partook in the demonstration in the Western region.
Yes. No, madam, what a brand of 96.
96. Wow. What's your bosom?
What my dad is for me.
Okay, yeah, that's mommy.
She looks very healthy.
Strong for 96.
Yeah, for a 96-year-old. I guess that's what you get when you go to the Western region. Yeah. But obviously, she shows that the demonstration, it has brought together people across all the adults age spectrum. It's not just the young people who are strong enough and are out there, but it's also pulled out the likes of her, who have seen a lot of governments, including pre-Fourth Republic governments. And she says that, listen, I want to be part of this because the country, as far as she is concerned, needs to head in the right direction in relation to, the voting process and the vote that will happen on December 7th in this country. But Martin, in the last 10 minutes, we're getting more information about that incident that happened at the Kumasi EC office. The Ghana Police Service is saying that there was no shooting there. They are denying categorically that any shooting incident took place at the Kumasi office. However, they say that some protesters were not following the route. They say that the demonstrators who went against the agreed arrangement by forcing their way into the compound of the EC were restrained. So obviously, some people went there. They know that they were not supposed to go beyond the police barricade. They did go beyond the police barricade using a different route. The police is saying that that is the incident that took place at the Kumasi EC office. There was no shooting, and they want to ensure that the right information is out there. And here at your election command center, we have just given you the update on that incident. They say they have arrested those people. They do not tell us how many people they have arrested as far as this incident is concerned. We'll get onto the ground and bring you more on this. But we're also telling our viewers earlier, Martin, that the security at the Electoral Commission's national office has been beefed up as well. In a tad, I believe we will be joining Beatrice Edu, who brought us the earlier report, find out the extent of this beefing up of security there. Remember also that in the first report she gave us, she said that the protesters were inching closer because she could hear them. She could hear the music. She could hear the chants. She could hear the, the footsteps that were marching towards her. And soon we would hear the extent of the beefing up security that is taking place there. But what you see on your screen at the moment are live pictures from the National Office of the Electoral Commission. The Ghana Police bus, obviously in the shots there, showing the number of officers perhaps that have been added already. But let's find out from Beatrice now what else we should know about this story we're just picking up from the Beatrice. We understand that security has been beefed up at the National Office of the Electoral Commission. Talk us through that.
Yes, it has. And that was about an hour ago when about 3 buses full of police officers arrived here. I'm sure you can see in the background, I'm trying to give you a clearer picture of what's going on.
Beatrice, Beatrice, if you can kindly...
They are ready. Some of them standing behind the barricade. Hello.
Yes, we definitely want to see what you are showing to us, but maybe you want to change the orientation of the phone so we get to see it in landscape. But clearly, the earlier visuals of the police bus that came there to help with the security duties there, we are showing that to our viewers now. So you might want to just change the orientation of your phone so we get to see the landscape view and also appreciate the officers who've been deployed to the EC head office. While at that...
I hope you can see.
Yes, we can, but the producers will have to quickly speak to Beatrice to get the right orientation, especially for our viewers. But, I mean, commendations, again, go out to the police. We are yet to end the entire process, but we want to commend the police for having conducted themselves very professionally. And it goes to, I mean, because look, no matter how you extend this, the police officers are also Ghanaians who face the same struggles and stresses we go through. So I'm not sure any of them will go out with the intention to foment trouble. So whereas they are protecting the peace, those of us who are also ensuring that our democracy is very well entrenched also need to work within the remit of the law. So we'll try and get a proper connection to Beatrice. While at that, let's find out from Eric Mawana where the Greater Accra protest group or the demonstrators have reached. And we're told that they are in Parliament as we speak. Egbeta, if you can hear me, do take it away and tell us where exactly you've gotten to and what you can report.
First stop for the party in terms of the petitions they are presenting. And like you're hearing, the National Communications Officer of the NDC announced they will be moving to the headquarters of the Electoral Commission, where the expectation is that they will be presenting that final petition to the EC in demanding a forensic audit of the country's electoral roll. It's been a long walk up until this point, and they're seeking to, amongst many things, finalize on protocols and modalities here, and then the clerks of Parliament, some of which we have seen already, around will present or will come around for the petition to be presented. I get a sense that with the police barricading the entire entrance area of Parliament, the petition will be read out loudly for the mass of supporters who are gathered here before it will be presented to the clerks of Parliament and the leadership of Parliament who are present. We've seen the minority leader who's been present and a part of this protest up until this point, but even now internal security is seeking to put to order the thousands of individuals who poured onto the streets today with the party to be here and present to demand one thing and one thing only, that the Electoral Commission conduct a forensic audit of the country's electoral roll based upon discrepancies that the NDC says they have discovered. And we've been hearing from the individuals in charge of elections for the party, both the director and his deputy, who've all spoken extensively to the extent of discrepancies. And we heard Dr. Amane Boama and Dr. Rashid Tanko Computer all allude to the fact that this could range to 1 million of voters in terms of the discrepancies that have been identified. I got the indication as well that they are awaiting the arrival of the chair of the NDC, Johnson Asiedu-Dartey, who will also be allowed onto this particular podium. But now it does appear that the leadership of the party is headed towards receiving the chair of the NDC, Johnson Asiedu-Dartey. It's quite a packed crowd, because more often than not, when it reaches this particular point, the expectation is that a lot of the supporters want to come as close as possible, and they fight as well with the spaces, with media persons who are seeking to be able to get the details of the petition as it is delivered live. And that's what the current situation is at this particular point in time, as we await Johnson Asiedu-Dartey, who will come through, and then they will be able to address the gathering and read out the petition, and then we can make our way towards the headquarters of the Electoral Commission now. That is what the leadership of the NDC is seeking to do now. We're hearing Sami Jemfi asking that the supporters make way to allow for the media so that they can be able to carry the coverage live here on your election command center. We're live on TV3, live on 3FM. We've been live all throughout the morning, bringing you extensive details as it's happened here on your election command center. And we're awaiting the final details and the final steps. This is the first stop. That final step will be the headquarters of the Electoral Commission, and then a termination point can come through. For a number of you who are watching at home, you would have got the benefit of being able to see what the entrance and the premise of the... As we try and meander our way again through, seeking to get the chance into the area. There's a lot of pushing and shoving, which is customary in terms of being able to get access into the inner perimeter where the speeches will be delivered. And
give them way, give the media way. Oh, give the media way. Hold us.
Well, we're still trying to shuffle our way through, and here on your election command center. So And so the struggle still is on. Trying to make our way into the inner perimeter, and that's